Good evening and welcome to Sunset News. I am Glenora Shipura, bringing you news, community stories, weather, economic news, and much more on this Wednesday evening. Getting into the news tonight, President Nangolo Mbumba has declared the drought a national disaster in the government gazette. The state of emergency is effective from the 22nd of May. The allocation of $825 million for drought relief, according to a cabinet decision, includes $600 million for food aid until the 30th of June 2025, as well as $100 million each for livestock and water provision, and $25 million for seeds and crop farming until the 31st of March next year. The declaration follows three agricultural unions' appeal to Mbumba a month ago to declare the drought a national disaster. Namibia is following in the footsteps of neighboring countries Zambia and Zimbabwe. Eben Nashandi, the executive director of the Office of the Prime Minister, earlier this week said while Namibia is in desperate need of food and supplies, the country is obligated to make the state of emergency declaration following the launch of the Southern Africa Development Community $5.5 billion regional humanitarian appeal to support those affected by El Nino-induced drought and floods. We have seen very low harvests, and that is why we made $825 million available. But the declaration is also to scale up our efforts and to raise awareness to the international community that we are in need of assistance. The availability of cereal is very low and the drought is prevalent almost in all parts of the country. We are going to need more resources and will need at least $400 million more because the beneficiaries of this relief have now also doubled, he said. Meanwhile, available stock in government silos is running low at only 16% of the total holding capacity. The Agriculture Ministry's recently issued Crop Prospects, Food Security and Drought Situation report that revealed that Namibia's national food reserves, including maize and pearl millet, with a collective storage capacity of 22,900 tons, currently hold only 3,758 tons. From May 2023 to February 2024, a total of 236,300 tons of coarse grains, wheat, maize, and pearl millet were imported into the country. The imports covered the deficits of wheat and maize, resulting in surpluses of 66,800 and 48,400 tons, respectively. However, Namibia is still facing a deficit of 58,000 tons of pearl millet, which is expected to be covered through additional commercial imports. In our next story, for the successful conservation of biodiversity in the Kavango-Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area, programs should always incorporate community-based natural resource management and the sustainable use of those resources for the benefit of local communities. This is according to Environment and Tourism Minister Pohamba Shifeta, who was speaking at a ministerial meeting at the Khaza TFCA Summit in Livingstone, Zambia. Having kicked off on Monday, the summit brings together leaders from Angola, Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe and will draw to a close tomorrow. Shifeta said it is important to take stock of what it will take to further strengthen the Khaza TFCA's governance and development. Good governance is critical for the existence of the initiative, he added. The quality of governance affects management effectiveness, helps determine the generation and sharing of costs and benefits, and helps to ensure community, political, and financial support and sound management of natural resources. Now, through good governance, the rights of our communities living in Khaza can be respected within the frameworks of biodiversity conservation and human rights. Good governance in a transboundary program like this one provides opportunities for win-win solutions for conservation. Now, to strengthen governance and development, stakeholders should continue to provide leadership in all matters related to the development and management of the Khaza TFCA and to ensure that the ownership and control of the area remains with its member countries, the minister said. We should provide overall policy guidance and direction on all matters related to the TFCA's development, Shifeta further said. It is the member states' responsibility to ensure that the area is developed as a sustainable conservation and tourism development program from which partner countries can derive equitable social and economic benefits. Walvis Bay Circuit Education Inspector Teresia Hojases has made it clear that the Education Directorate will not accommodate parents who queue up days before the enrollment dates for pre-primary and grade 1 in Walvis Bay. She made these remarks during a parent meeting hosted by the Walvis Bay Education Circuit. Hundreds of parents attended the meeting to discuss the 2025 pre-primary and grade 1 enrollment process, which is set to take place next week. The enrollment dates is set for the 4th of June for grade 1 and 5th of June for pre-primary. Parents who do not get space for their child at the respective schools are encouraged to go to the Walvis Bay Circuit office, where the name of the child will be placed on a record-keeping list for placement at a school. There are about 1,500 spaces for grade 1 available, including the learners in pre-primary that will go to grade 1 next year. Currently, Walvis Bay Government School have more than 2,100 grade 1s. Let's take a look.
At these 2 different days. And today we are going to tell the parents not to go and queue up from Friday in front of the schools. We will not consider anyone that is queuing up from Friday. The enrollment date is Tuesday. If they must be queuing up, it must be Tuesday. So we are not going to take any less that is made during the weekend. We will directly take the parents as they are standing in the queue on that specific day. This is what we have decided after we discussed this thoroughly. Okay, if you are enrolling a child at Naraville, you are not going to queue up in Quisepont because the enrollment will be done there at Naraville, isn't it? Yeah. If you want to enroll at High Hope, you go to High Hope, you get your application form, and then you enroll your child there.
In our next story, in an effort to enhance the bilateral relations between Malaysia and Namibia, the High Commission of Malaysia inaugurated the Namibian-Malaysia Friendship Association in Windhoek yesterday. The association will provide a platform for individuals who have benefited from studies, training, and working in Malaysia previously to come together and better address any issues that can assist in enhancing and expanding relations between the two countries. Dr. Mohammed Ramiz Yaha, the acting High Commissioner of Malaysia, talks about how the idea materialized. Let's take a look.
This idea was brought by Dr. Sikongo. He said that we must have this association in order to ensure if there are any issues pertaining to Namibia and Malaysia, it can be resolved through this kind of networking and channels. And most importantly, through this kind of association, then we can also enhance further our diplomacy, our trade, our investment between both Namibia and Malaysia. And we can also do some other cooperation and collaboration also in the education aspect. Okay. And today will be the first inauguration ceremony of the so-called nomination for the 4 top posts of the Namibian Malaysian Friendship Association. I welcome all of you. Although in the WhatsApp group we mentioned there's supposed to be 18, but unfortunately there are 16. I should have invited more than 36. Then 20 could turn up for the event. But anyway, that's how Malaysia and Namibia can work together.
That concludes our top stories. Economic news follows after this short break.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
Getting into our economic news, the state-owned electricity supplier NamPower is having Namibia's first biomass power plant built by a Chinese company. It is designed to generate 40 megawatts of electricity at Tsumeb from wood chips produced by harvesting invader bush varieties. NamPower project manager Tangeni Chivute said at the contract signing last Friday that around 300 jobs will be created during the construction phase. Potentially another 1,000 jobs will be added through suppliers and related activities, he said. The power plant will consist of 2 units, each generating 20 megawatts of electricity. The necessary biomass will be harvested within a radius of 100 kilometers in compliance with the Forest Stewardship Council principles and using only 12.8% of the available harvested area. NamPower signed a loan agreement and an engineering, procurement and construction contract and wood chip supply contracts for the biomass power plant on Friday. NamPower had been planning this project for many years. NamPower Managing Director Kahenge Haulufu announced that the $2.3 billion EPC contract was awarded to Dongfeng International Electrical Corporation, and the construction work will take approximately 30 months. NamPower is the owner of the project and will continue to operate the power plant from 2027. The project will cost a total of 2.64 billion Namibian dollars. The government is contributing 400 million Namibian dollars through the Ministry of Finance, 100 million euros as a loan from the French Development Agency, and 25 million euros as a grant for the Mitigation Action Facility for capital cost and capacity building of the local biomass value chain, said Haulufu. Let's take a look at our financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 23.33, against the euro at 19.87, against the US dollar at 18.35. 2 Namibian dollars and 53 cents gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, all major commodities went down, with Brent crude oil trading at 0.07%, going for $84 and 63 cents per barrel. On the other side of the break, we take a look at our story of the day.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
Today is a public holiday in neighboring South Africa as millions of South Africans head to the polls to cast their votes. At stake is the 3-decade dominance of the African National Congress Party, which led South Africa out of apartheid's brutal white minority rule in 1994. It is now the target of a new generation of discontent in a country of 62 million people, half of whom are estimated to be living in poverty. Africa's most advanced economy has some of the world's deepest socio-economic problems, including one of the worst unemployment rates at 32%. After winning 6 successive national elections, several polls have the ANC's support at less than 50% ahead of this one, an unprecedented drop. It might lose its majority in parliament for the first time, although it's widely expected to hold the most seats. NMH's in-house economic news reporter Jo Marie Daddy spoke to a political analyst of Oxford Economics in South Africa on the significance of the South African elections in the region. Let's take a look. We'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Are you tired of just hanging around at home while waiting for something to do? Check out eticket.diary.my.na for what's hot on the social scene across the country. Or if you're arranging an event you'd like us to feature, contact Jareen at we.com.na. We can sell your tickets too.
We're speaking to Lonel. He is the Senior Political Analyst of Oxford Economics in Africa. Good morning, Lo. Thank you very much for joining us. From which city in South Africa?
Morning, Joe-Marie. I'm in Cape Town. That's where we're based.
Very nice to have you in the BIS 7 studio, especially since you also have strong Namibian roots. We're always happy to welcome a fellow Namibian in the studio. Lo, this is an extremely important election for South Africa. What is the mood like in the country this morning?
Well, I think that elections in South Africa generally generate a lot of excitement. Because there is so much noise and so much campaigning, and people who do have political affiliations, they do feel quite strongly about the elections. So even myself, on Saturday, I was at a birthday party, and the host used his speech opportunity to stump for one of those political parties. So people do feel quite strongly. The perception is, and the feeling is, that this is a monumentous election in the sense that change is in the air. It's pretty much accepted that the ANC is on the brink of losing its majority, which of course would be the first time that's happened in its 30-year reign. And I guess there's also a certain amount of uncertainty. So for a party that has been in party uninterrupted for 30 years, the prospect of suddenly them being out of power and perhaps someone else being in charge does create a certain apprehension. There's some tension in the air as well. There are some political parties who have been campaigning quite negatively. Some political parties have been really appealing to people's worst instincts. So even the main opposition has been running a campaign, a very fear-mongering campaign. And I'm sure perhaps you guys have also seen the news about the response to their television ad of the South African flag burning and then warning of this doomsday scenario. Not positive campaigning at all. But then we have other parties down here in the Cape. The Patriotic Alliance is running a campaign that's very much focused on immigration. So also quite negative and a bit sour, to be honest.
Let's now get into our international news. A U.S. luxury real estate billionaire and a deep-sea explorer are planning to travel in a submersible to explore the Titanic. Ohio tycoon and adventurer Larry Corner and Patrick Leahy, co-founder of Triton Submarines, say they want to take a sub to a depth of around 3,800 meters to see the shipwreck in the North Atlantic Ocean. The private submersible industry was rocked after 5 people were killed when a vessel built by OceanGate imploded en route to the Titanic last year. A spokesman for Mr. Corner's company said on Tuesday that the proposed voyage will only take place once a vessel was fully certified by a marine organization. There is no time frame for the planned expedition. The pair plan to use a sub dubbed the Triton 4002 Abyssal Explorer. The 4000 refers to the depth in meters to which the craft can safely be deployed. The Titan submarine, built by OceanGate, was constructed of carbon fiber and was only certified to 1,300 meters, far short of the depths of the ocean floor where the Titanic wreck lay. In June 2023, the vessel imploded while on a trip to the Atlantic wreckage. OceanGate's chief executive, Stockton Rush 61, died on board alongside 4 other passengers. When I take a look at the next story, Algeria proposes Security Council resolution demanding Israel halt offensive in Rafah. Algeria is circulating a proposed UN Security Council resolution that will demand an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and order Israel to halt its military offensive in the southern city of Rafah immediately. The draft resolution obtained on Wednesday evening by the Associated Press also demands that the ceasefire be respected by all parties. It also calls for the immediate release of all hostages taken during the Hamas attack in southern Israel on October 7th. Some diplomats said they hoped for a quick vote even as early as Wednesday. Let's now take a look at our weather predictions. Katamamulilo can expect some sunny weather with a minimum of 10 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 30 degrees Celsius. Handys Bay can expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 14 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 17 degrees Celsius, while Rehoboth can expect sunny weather with a minimum of 12 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius. And with that, from the news desk, we have come to the end of the broadcast, but do not go away. Here's Ari Hohat with the sports news.
Good everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with tennis news first, and it's the French Open that continues. It's the second major of the year. Men and women, the best players in the world, competing in Paris. News from the men's draw, number 1 seed Novak Djokovic safely through to the second round. He had a tough encounter, local favourite. It was Pierre Herbert, and it was Djokovic that won in 3 sets, 6-4, 7-6 and 6-4. It's Djokovic that's a 24-time major winner, and he's also won the French Open 3 times, and his next game in the second round will be against Roberto Baena of Spain. On to number 12 seed, that is Taylor Fritz of the USA. He also had a tough game against Federico Garcia, and he is a clay court specialist from Argentina, and it was Taylor Fritz winning 2-6, 6-1, 6-2 and 6-1 to advance to the second round. Then on the women's side of the draw, Paula Badosa of Spain, she's 26 seeded, beat Katie Boultier of the United Kingdom in 3 sets. And then number 4 seed, one of the early favourites, it's Elena Rybakina. She beat Geert Minner, and she beat her by 6-2 and 6-3. And then lastly also the number 7 seed, that is Qinwen Zheng from China. Good result for her, also playing a tough game against a local favourite, that is Elise Gournay. She beat her by 6-2 and 6-1 quite comfortably to advance to the second round. Continuing with soccer news, and that is from the Championship. It is Wayne Rooney, a former player from Manchester United. He's coaching now, and he's been handed his 4th coaching job in as many years almost. He's been confirmed as the new coach for Plymouth, and Plymouth play in the Championship League. That's 1 league below the English Premier League. And it is Wayne Rooney that played 393 games for Manchester United in his time, and also 120 games for England. He's been a very successful player, but limited success as a coach. In the last 3 years, he was also a coach for Derby County, also for DC United in United States, and then also for Birmingham. So a new coaching job for him at Plymouth. And to close off today's international sports news, it is golf news from the LPGA, the Women's Golf PGA, and it's Lexi Thompson of the United States that announced her retirement at the end of the season. It's a big surprise, as Lexi Thompson is only 29 years old, and she turned pro. She started a professional career in 2010 already. She's won 15 times on the LPGA, and she's got 1 major championship, and that was the Kraft Nabisco Championship in 2014. Lexi Thompson also holds the record for the youngest winner on the LPGA history, and she won the Navistar LPGA Championship when she was just 16 years old. The last few years she's been struggling with a hand injury, and she's dropped down to number 54th in the world, and this week she will also play in the US Open that will start on Thursday. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.